All right, guys, about to get started. Hang tight. All right, I'm gonna jump out in a second. I had to fix the internet,
Yeah.
but it's good. Good to go.
Would you do hotspot your phone?
No, I just call them and they just reset the.
Oh, it's working now? Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? So, we'll give it a few minutes. Quinn, we can't see you, so I don't know if you're laying down or doing the workouts. There we go. We got more people logging in. Carlos, how's it going, Carlos? Who's that up there? Donovan? Yeah, Donovan. How's it going, Donovan? Jorge, what's going on, Jorge? I hope you like my joke from the text message. Um, I sent it to a lot of people, and only a few of them replied, laughing about it, and some of them ignore me.
It's so
So
cold out.
I know. So I'm going to assume they're offended. So it's true. The people that laughed about it, I would assume they're okay. Sorry, team inside joke. It's pretty hilarious if you guys will know. Hey, Mona, how's it going? Where's the best Bailey grappler in the
Oh,
family?
I'm right here,
No, I'm
but
talking about Dominic.
he's working with my dad.
Oh, really? Wow. Tell him I said hi.
I will.
How you doing?
I'm good. I trained
Yeah.
yesterday. My sister trained with me.
Okay, that's good. All right. So make sure you guys thinking about your questions. All right. We'll get started here in about a minute. We'll do some little stretching slash drilling, and then I want to add a little bit of flows of jujitsu movements related to a technique. What do I mean? For example, she's not in, but Melissa had questions about the butterfly, the hook flip. So we can do a drill to the butterfly, to the mount slash to an arm bar, and then you fall back on your back. So it becomes a continuous drill, right? And then you can add more flows into it. Think about a story. You just add another chapter to it, all right? And you string techniques. And then next thing you know, what happens is you're sort of flowing when you're sparring. I don't know if it ever happened to you guys that you kind of, even in any other sports that I play, that you kind of just hit the zone. Like you, Jorge, you play music, right? And I'm sure you just get in a point where you just get in the zone, and something that might seem super difficult for me, you're just so natural flowing with it, right? That's what I get out of these drills. And the other part about it too is the body movement flow, right? What is something that happens, especially at the beginner stage in jiu-jitsu, is that you constantly stop to think, right? And the problem that in jiu-jitsu you do have to think, but you got to think when you're drilling, because what happens when you think too much in a sparring match, you're probably gonna fall behind. By the time you see the move, the partner already has another move, and you're probably getting swept or whatever is going on. All right. So now we got Melissa here and Mr. Jack. I can see Carlos. I can't see Quinn. All right. So listen up, team. We're gonna get started. So everyone stand up. We're gonna bow in. I'm going to pin my video, and then and then we'll start with the we'll start with the stretch. All right. Everyone stand up. Perfect. At a ready stance. Good. Add attention. Go ahead and bow. All right. So we're gonna get started with a couple stretches here. I don't know if you guys can see my hand. I like this one a lot. So it's very simple as going here with your hands, right? Just kind of doing this. But I like to put my hands on the mat, very close to my knees here, right? Try to keep your body straight in a good posture. And if you are looking forward, always thinking about anytime you're doing some type of squatting or deadlift, always think about looking 10 feet, 6 feet ahead of you instead of looking straight forward. That is actually a deceiving thing when you're Or if your posture is looking up, it's like you always want to have a straight posture here. You see. Anyways, so I'm getting here in this position, and all I want to do is just slightly lean forward until I feel the stretch on my forearms here. Slightly lean forward and back. Right. Right now, my fingers are pointing forward, and so that's the stretch that I'm looking for. Okay. Seems like I'm mostly stretching my forearms, but as you can see, I'm also stretching my legs here. Be the same equivalent of doing this here, right? Uh, Now turn your fingers outward, and we're gonna rock ourselves side to side. Good. Do a few. I usually do about 10, 15. You can go longer if you want. You can also do this workout after you do a lifting, this stretching after you do a lifting session or a sparring session. Your arms get really tired, right? Now we're gonna go inward, right? And then we're gonna again rock side to side. Or think about it whenever you do a competition. I don't know if it ever happened to you guys that after your first match is always the toughest one and you get your arms get so burned out. Well, doing something like this instead of breathing hard on the sidelines as you're resting for your second match is what you're gonna keep your mind and your body ready, right? Um, Good. Now on the next one, we're gonna use our fist on the mat here, right, and put a weight forward, and we're sort of going to move in a circle, right? We can go one direction. Then, after a few of them, you switch to the opposite direction. Good team. Perfect. On the next one, now we're going to post our hands on the mat here, right? And all I want to do is I want to bring my hips off the mat here and then up, right? Now, my feet are going to pedals. Notice how I'm stretching here, right? And pedal the other one. So I keep switching side to side. This should kind of continue the stretch. On my back, I don't want it to bow. I want to keep straight here. Good. Now see if you can open your arms a little wider. Now we're gonna dip down into sort of like a dive and push back. Dive in and push back. And hold the position. Don't try to rush and get it done. Make sure you're controlling every part of the movement. Good. Now on the next one, we're gonna hold this position. Bring your left leg up off the ground here. Good. Now slowly sort of tilt turn when you're bringing your leg behind you. Good. Now let's bring it back. In the same leg, we're still off the ground. Now we're gonna bring it into our outside elbow and hold the position. Now we're gonna go back. Now we're gonna bring it back into the middle, hold the position. Then we'll go back. Now we're gonna bring it across to our other elbow. Then we'll go back. Good, perfect. Now let's switch. There we go. Do some pedaling in here. Now let's do a couple dives just to kind of keep our arms moving. Good. Perfect. Now let's switch to the other leg. Our right leg now comes off the ground. Good. And now, after this, we're going to bring it behind, sort of like a scorpion kick, right? Good. Now the same leg is going to go to the same side elbow. Hold it. We go back. Now we go to the center. Hold it. We go back. Last one, we go across. Hold it. We go back. Perfect team. Now, your arms are probably a little tired here from putting pressure. So what I want to do now, go back to that same stretch we did earlier, right? We're only going to do it 10 times each. And now if you notice, it doesn't hurt as much. like you're able to stretch a lot more. I'm still even popping my back. Now at work, we go side to side. Not only can I move more, but I can move more freely with more movement. Doesn't hurt as much. Good. Inward. Perfect. Last one. Make a fist, right? And then we're doing circles over. Our chest is going over our fist. Good. Opposite direction. Perfect. Awesome. Now let's work a little bit of our sitting position. Before we move on into a little bit of a tiger routine, let's look at a couple of drills on the ground, right? I'm big at flowing on the mat. Ever since I was even a white belt, I always try to do a lot of floor drills. That's one thing I realized. I was talking to someone yesterday. I was like, I've always done floor drills before class. I was always the guy spinning around doing all that stuff. So what I want to do from here, just a couple basic drills. I'm going to go back and push back here. That's all I'm doing. Now, what am I doing with my shoulder and my head? I want to make sure I'm not rolling over my neck. So I open one arm. Always open my shoulder. You don't have to extend your arm. Just open that little base, right? And my head tilts to the opposite direction. My legs don't go to the center, right? Or if they do, I create this space. I simply open that base and turn in my head. But I always try to guide into the side of the legs. Yeah. And I go back. Now do the other side as well. And I go back. And if you have space, notice how I'm sort of making a circle as I'm doing the drill. Perfect. All right, listen up. If you have mat space, you can do this. If you don't, be very careful. I've always done that on carpet as well. So this time is very similar to the lizard, right? But what I'm doing is I'm going forward. Instead of being on my back, I'm going putting my shoulder down here like this, right? And watch how I open my other hand here. I learned this as a blue belt, and this is what really helped my guard, my inversion game, without getting hurt and landing on my neck and being able to move, not allowing my hips to collapse. So from here, I get my knees off the mat. My only shoulder is on the mat. Here I'm posted. Why am I posting? Is because I'm going to walk my legs around. Notice how I'm switching my head now. And then I walk this way. You see? So now I can go opposite direction. So now I'm going halfway in. And look, if I want, I can put my knees down and then keep going in a circle. I can go slow and go fast. If you guys know a guy named Cobrinha, he's huge with this drill. He's one of my idols, one of the people that I look up to. Not only because of his jujitsu, but his lifestyle, the way he carries himself and the way he treats his body and his lifestyle. Anyways, if you guys ever want to get to train him, he's in LA. I will always go there. We're gonna do this drill side to side. Just follow along. If you have difficulties, think about how I did it only in the front from the beginning. This is very similar to the wave, right? The wave is here, the hips are off the mat. This time, think about it. Somebody stacked me and I don't have the space to do the wave. So I just have to create the hips under me to be able to move my body and create that inversion. It all started with this. And then I just put my hips. Go to the other side. I can roll forward as well. All right. Now we start adding a flow movement, right? So I can go back, go circle, right? Go back the opposite direction here, and I roll forward, and I sit up, just sort of like a combat stance, right? I go back to the other side, and again. maybe do the opposite direction, all right? So let me see some of you guys moving around. Let's see what we got. There we go, Melissa. Let's see it. Good, Jack. There you go. Switch the shoulders. Good, Mona. Let's see it, Donovan. Donovan, you can go just going backwards. That's how I started, right? Going back. Then you can start adding the shoulders roll. Good, Carlos. There you go. Perfect team. All right, listen up. Now let's move on to the other drill. Melissa, this is going to be good for you since you like the butterfly drill and the arm bar. So we talked about flow drills, right, with our technique. So notice how I was sitting down and going backwards, right? But this time I'm sitting up to like a comeback stance position, right? And all I'm doing is what I want to do is I want to sit into my sitting guard, really, right? I'm not going all the way up. I'm just going up to here. If I do, I'm here, but I'm always sitting down and tilting, right? And I sweep the person. So I go here, right? I'm in this position, sit up, and I tilt one way. Oh, maybe I switch the other side, sit up, and I sweep the person. Always posting on the bottom leg, right? The reason why I like this here is a lot of times people sprawl, and you're able to slide under them and still lift them up, right? So again, here, and now very similar to the drill we just did, right? We sweep. First side, we sweep. And my arm is staying connected to the here. I'm not looking out to underhook. I'm always looking to here, be tight to this position. Now the second part is we'll add the complete part of the sweep, right? And mount. As we mount, we'll walk our hands up. Walk your hands up, and now you're able to post, right? When I pose, I can slide into the arm bar drill. What I'm doing, I'm sliding my knee up, very similar to the position we were just working, right? And I'm able to get into my whip position, right? And up. Now I have my arm bar. And I sit up again. And I just repeat. Hook flip, mount, walk my fingers up toward the arm bar. I slide forward, right? I stick, then I have my arm bar again. And I finish everything tight, okay? Then I sit up again. I'm continuing the drill. It's like I'm flowing. It's almost like I create an opponent and I'm sparring without actually having a partner, right? And now, as you go, you can speed it up. You can go a little faster. All right. So you guys continue moving. So you visualize, right? I got a hook flip. I get to the mount. I keep the arm strapped. I slide to my S mount position, and then I execute my submission. You can do it for time. You can do this for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And like I said, you can create different forms of flows, right? You have your favorite technique. You attach something you're working on. You have something that you're weak at. You attach something that will help it, strengthen it. Good. Perfect. All right, team. So the last portion here before we get into our questions and answers with Professor Travis, I want to speed up a little bit of the cardio now, right? So let's stand up. So I was doing this with the kids yesterday. And again, it's all about using your imagination, right? And being creative. I'm in my passion, right? I would like to always pin the legs down, especially no gi. It's a little bit difficult as you stack them, get under, double under position, right? So a lot of times the movement of flowing around the person is very important. So what I'm doing from here, I'm facing you guys, but I will shuffle to my side, And instead of leaning forward, I'll squat. You see how I'm squatting in my position. And then I'll sit back up, right? And all I'm doing is I'm rewinding it. I'm going back. How is that going to help me? When I ever try to pass one direction, they block me. I can always switch, right? And again, I'm imagining that I have someone here. I go to the opposite side here and I squat. Boom. Then I move back. Then I go to the other side. Squat. How would that simulate to a partner is very simple, right? If I have a bag here, I can do drills. 1, 2, 3, right? If I have an actual partner to work, or even if I have medicine ball, right? I'm here, I'm passing the guard, going this way, going this way, right? Then if I have an actual partner, that will simulate easier, right? So again, we're gonna do this drill for time. You can challenge yourself however you want. You can do it for repetition, just to work on the technique and the movement. And as you got that down, then you can add a challenge. You can do it for, let's say, time, or let's see how long it takes you to do a certain amount of repetition, right? Like, let's say you're gonna do 15 to each side, but it takes you like 1 minute. Then you're starting to lower the time without losing your technique, all right? So let's do it together here. Elbows in, moving one way and the other way. Let's go. Squat, good. This way, squat. Back the other way. And around, squat. The other way, good. Here. And I usually do drills like this on a bag for about a minute, minute and a half. Then I add flows into it, just like the technique. Your posture stays up, your back stays straight, never looking down, lowering my hips. Like a U, right? I'm just going around. I have my starting point here and my ending point here. Same thing on the other side. And always remind myself, I'm squatting, not bringing my chest down. Good, time, perfect. Professor, can I borrow you?
Indeed.
So this is how it would look with a partner. So if I was here passing guard, here, right? Or turn. If I was here passing guard, it's very simple, going around, knee down, you see? And it's very obvious because I'm gonna expect a reaction from him, right? If I go one way, he counters, and I go the opposite. Now I'm here. Thank you, sir.
I have an idea for future classes where everyone just watches Professor Jose and I train. So we get credit for the class while training. And I think it's a good idea. Everyone, give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Oh, we're going to train so much.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Michael Quinn gives us a thumbs up. Good. We might do that. We might have to have like a kind of a live training session a little while. I think it would be good just to kind of see it and do that too.
Coach, if you did that and then narrate, like if you could narrate the technical, like break down the match. So like have a pre-recorded training session between you and Jose, and then explain kind of what's going on. That would actually be cool. I'd be interested in watching that.
That would be, well, like that's what I'm doing, similar to like, you guys know Wednesday nights, just to remind you guys of what we're doing this week. But I do like that idea. Also Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing a match breakdown class. It's going to be the Roger Gracie and Jacare match from 2004. This is when I was living in Brazil, and I was there, and this is one of the most epic matches ever. So break down how that match went. It's going to be pretty fun. Actually, before we go, I might do a screen share with everyone just to test it, make sure it works for everyone. And but I like that idea too. He just recovered Fro. Michael Quinn's always sending me messages. That one's incomplete. Not reading it, Michael. Gotta send the whole message.
You're his bro?
No, I think it said Fro, like from. Which one? Who was sick? Hodger or
Oh,
Jacare?
Hodger had a coronavirus.
Oh, Hodger did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll that'll be Wednesday night. We'll break that down. But I like your idea too, like instructor training session. Since we're the ones teaching class, then you can kind of see like, okay, well, here's what he was doing, here's what I was doing. We'll break that down. Really good idea. So let's do a little bit of Q&A now. Let me get back and see who's on. Oh, a lot of people. Some of y'all came in like just the last few minutes. I feel
Oh,
like.
is that David? David, just his baby was born last night.
Whoa! Congratulations. Very nice. You gotta
Thumbs
post post pictures. Wait a minute. There we go. I think that's acceptable nowadays. I had a baby. You get one of these. You
Right.
get one of these emojis. All right. Well, good. Good stuff so far. Let's take a few questions. And you got both of us here. You should have lots of black belt level questions ready to go. Angie, are you saving on electricity? I feel like your room's extra dark. I can't hear anything you're saying, but I assume
Showed us her fans.
you're on mute.
Oh, she thinks she
Yeah.
might be on.
No, I was saying that I thought you could hear my portable heater when you said I was trying to save for electricity.
Oh no. Cool. Okay, let's any questions so far, team? Melissa, you had your hand up, and then George. Go ahead,
Yes.
Melissa.
So I've been playing around a bit. We've been trying to get in some sparring almost every day. And I have a question about whether or not something is legal or not.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure. I've never come across it in jiu-jitsu before, but it kind of seems cheap and maybe it might not be legal. Like when I get my son, when I get him in the guard and he's trying to break it, instead of going for hip control, he's kind of going for rib control. He's digging his knuckles into my ribs. Is that a legit movement? Because it feels like it feels like a penalty.
It's like a bully move, but it is legal, but it's not that good. You can't know how to beat it.
It's probably only gonna piss off the other person more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the elbows and the thighs. Like that can work too. But it's not, you're not positioned as strongly as if your hands are in the right position. So like what you're really trying to do is make the person so uncomfortable that they let go. But if you realize that, oh, while they're doing that, I can manipulate one arm like with a 2-on-1 better because their hands are not attached with grips. They're just trying to, kind of grind you through the position. So
I feel like he's forward at the hip, so I'm kind of climbing and getting into that triangle. But it's pissing me off.
Yeah, well, I mean, so then you need to beat them over and over you have to react with the correct reaction enough that they get tired of just losing the position, right? And then ground him and send him to his room when he's done, right?
But I don't play anymore.
Yeah, it is legal. I mean, there's a fine line of like unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, I don't know if the ref would see that. I know you couldn't do that like on their face or their neck or anything, but I think in the ribs, if you're just kind of pushing, I think it's probably legal. I don't think yeah. George.
Yeah. So could you? And this is not my question, but I just thought about it with Melissa. If somebody's digging your ribs in there, isn't that that Keenan wrist lock? When you grab the elbow from the outside available there. Melissa likes wrist locks. If you just collapse that fist down by grabbing the elbow with 2 hands.
I don't know if that'll work. That's usually when they're gripping a little bit higher. Like if I were in a closed guard, like this. I mean, maybe I could, but he's not gripping. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, I almost need to catch it like a little bit here, and then maybe I could get the wristband this way, or if you catch it like that. I think I don't know. I'm not great at those types of wrist locks, but I think there's a chance that they're going to kind of slip out. It's worth going for, right? I mean,
You'll make him let go.
now that I'm kind of feeling it and thinking about it, like it just kind of push your wrist, there. Maybe I could do that, but that almost hurts me a little bit if it's on my actual
Do you
wrist.
think you have to break the posture first?
Well, and then if I,
A little
yeah, I
bit?
mean, like if I break your posture, like here, your hands are probably not there. Like I don't think he's gonna leave his fist pushing like this. If he does, then
Why?
I see like a more opportunity there. So it's something to play with. I don't have a lot of people doing that now. It's kind of like I remember like white belt, a lot of, especially when I was a white belt and no one knew anything.
That kind of looks like a Coach Todd move, though.
The fist.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. You can try it. I feel like if his knuckles are there and I'm trying to pull his knuckle through me, I don't know if I can bend it enough right there. It's when they grip sometimes and there's a little bit of bend in the wrist that you can sometimes catch them with that. But that's usually like a lapel type control.
You just flex your abs.
What?
You just flex your abs.
Just like, yeah. That's it. Tap them with one ab flex and no one has any business.
No, my real question though was, I've been messing around because I don't have a partner, right? So I'm like here by myself, rolling by myself, all very sad. And I've been
give us your whole life story, George. give us all your pain. Just let it out.
Why are you playing the guitar, though?
This is one big therapy session right here.
No, but I've been messing with the like those resistance bands to kind of like simulate guard,
Yeah.
And because they have some game and you can play spider and stuff. And I know Coach Jose has a ton of like single drills and stuff that he does.
You have
One time he was playing De La Hiva in an airport post, So I want to know what kinds of drills I can do to continue to kind of like develop my guard using a resistance band as a tool.
So you're on your back and you wanted to use different like resistance bands. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, kind of like what you can do with like with your belt, but with a resistance band, I think is even more effective. Is you can. Let me see if I have one real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, I think if you just wrap it around your knees here and then open your legs this way with that resistant, that's probably one of the best things you can do.
I think if you want to be like a little more active with one, right, is just do kind of like we do with like a spider guard drill, right? So if I'm playing like this, I can work this type of movement at different angles. You know how a spider guard we kind of move here, right? But now I'm giving actually like resistance here, and I can hit it at a lot of angles. So one good thing about these bands is I can actually really mimic like a guard. I could even lasso one side. We do this sometimes with the belt, but the band is so much better, right? Because I can get that tension of the person like fighting back. I can stretch, but now I'm pushing, so I'm engaging those muscles that I use to kind of, push and do that. So I like just placing the foot into the band like it's a hook on a spider guard or on the hip or on a lasso, and then move around that way. And you'll feel it, like you'll feel your hamstrings fire a lot when you do that, more than just with the belt. Like with the belt, I don't have that stretchy kind of resistance. It's just the resistance of my arms, It's more of a stretch. This, I feel like I can hit every angle. Real good for, I think, your knees and any joints sometimes are susceptible to unpredictable shifts in angle and stress. So now you're hitting those from a lot of different positions. So I'm sure there's a lot more than that, but really your guard can hit, every different angle. So use it to push your flexibility. and then unwind that flexibility, you know. So it's like if I'm kind of going here, then I'm pushing back, and then I'm coming in, and now I'm pushing, and then I'm coming across, and then I'm, you know, moving. All that with resistance is going to kind of make my guard stronger in a stretched position. You know, you ever see like Cyborg was real good at that. He kind of was the innovator for the tornado guard, right? Where he'd spin upside down. That's a real stretched out position to have to be strong from. Because we lose strength the more our muscles are like elongated. You know, so he's basically going upside down, right? Like he would flip upside down, and then you have to launch the person from there, like engaging that hamstring from a hamstring stretched position. Well, to mimic that, I need to be kind of using those muscles when they're stretched out, as opposed to just a more traditional short range type pull, you know, movement. So yeah, with bands, I mean, you can do a ton of stuff like that, and the resistance feels different than just stretching like with a strap or with a belt, right? Like we would do in class or like in a yoga class. Now I get this kickback, or it's like if I relax, it's like pushing, you know. So does that help a little bit?
Yeah, no, that helps a lot. And what Coach just said, I've forgotten about that. When keeping the knees bound with the band and then open them,
Yeah,
that's really good.
it's an opposite side of resistance, right? Can I show 'em?
Yeah.
So, like a lot of times your legs get pinned, and think about the workout that we were doing earlier, the drill where I can't do the wave no more, so I gotta create the space, right? So in order for me, like if the professor puts me in a very heavy position, my legs are pinned. So just doing that resistant workout here, burning, feeling the burn, it helps. You can do it with your own feet together as well, like just that separation, you know. And if you have something to tie the band to, or can you hold it? Then even closer. Then you can do like opposite resistance, where it's like somebody pulls your leg here, so like now you're pulling your own leg to you because this is very common, right? And then you can go out, and then you can put it on the ground. This we get a lot of ideas like this from all in with Dr. Lou. It's like if you're passing guard right now, you're stepping this way, now you're going forward, you're going behind, and that type of opposite resistance with including with what Professor showed will be like a complete workout.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you, Coach.
What else do we have, team? Yeah, everybody right now, if you don't have a band, I recommend go online and get a few of them. Get one that's kind of long like this so you can stretch, and then you can get a shorter band, one that just kind of comfortably fits over your ankles or knees. And so it's a little more of a compact feeling, but real good for longevity and keeping all your joints just strong. And they're not that expensive. So definitely get you a couple of those. Any other questions? Mona, where's Bailey numero uno today?
He's working with my dad.
Um,
I do have a question though. It's one of
Yeah.
those like weird thingamajiggers. You know the Tariqa plotter, right?
the what?
The Tariqa plotter.
Say it one more time.
The Tariqa plotter.
No, don't say it all casual like everyone knows that. Just because you heard it on some like underground forum and you're like, well, you know that one, right? It's all the buzz among 4 people in this one state. No, I don't know what that is.
You don't know what
I
it
have
is?
no idea. And I'm a 4-3 black belt. Don't know what it is. Why don't you tell me?
Okay, so it's kind of like the Barada setup, but
Yeah.
instead of feeding this arm through, you're feeding this one like a little spinny thing. But sometimes I can't get the arm, so that's if there's like an ankle change that I had to do to get the arm through.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking you, but you don't know.
All right. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to save that question for when Bailey favorite is in class with you.
He doesn't know how to do it.
But you know how to do it to him.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a partner that you can demonstrate so that you're not trying to verbalize this question that makes no sense.
Hey, come here. I can show you.
All right, show me. Let's all look.
No, just come here. So right here, right? This is the Bravo Center.
Yeah.
This is coming through this way. Here. Like this.
Oh, like a Kimura grip.
Yeah, kind of.
Almost like a Kimura.
Sure, but it's
Okay.
not. It's fancier.
Sure. And what's the finish?
Oh, okay, come here. So here, you go like this, and you triangle this way. And then you go like this, I think. Yeah, like this.
Okay.
Kind of
And how do
like
they tap? Are they tapping from wrist pressure or from Kimura pressure?
It's shoulder.
What?
Shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the Kimura. It's not the pressure like on the forearm or anything. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the question here?
Sometimes I can't get the arm through because I guess
Yeah.
it won't let it. So is there like an angle check?
Let's try to figure this craziness out. All right. So here and come back over here. All right. So we're here like this. We're trying to get this through.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to get extra heavy on this leg to make this work. Because I can't do that to my arm without getting on my side. Does this make sense? Are you seeing that? Okay, so maybe if I'm holding here, but I stretch here, now come back a little bit this way. Like keep moving this way. Sorry. Yeah. All right, so if I'm here, get on my side. I'm stretching this leg. Sometimes you can even hook. I don't know if you can see this foot hooks. If he's posting, I can hook there. And now I switch. Is that visible too?
Yeah.
And then you can start to go. So it seems like you already know how to do the move, but you can't get the arm through because it's like you have to Kimura yourself to bend that much. Stretch the leg on the head and do a little bit of a shrimp. So now you're not compromising your angle that much, and then you'll be able to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Great question. I'm sure everyone's going to use that one immediately. Angie, you have a question? Or your thumbs up. Good. All right. What else do we have, team?
I'll save my question for the gi class. Is there a gi class tonight?
There is.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock. Yes. Very nice. Okay.
Underhooks and overhooks for, I guess, takedown defense in no-gi. Is that utilized or no?
It's it's mostly utilized there, because with the gi it tends to be grips, right? Let's talk about that for just a moment, and maybe this one will help, right? So, let's just kind of talk about like real simple. My underhook here obviously is going to stop this arm from going to my leg. It doesn't stop that arm from going to my leg. Okay. And so he still has other, attacks that he can do, right? Like fireman's carry and duck unders. Okay. When I have the overhook, it's all about like controlling, right?
Can you grab the arm or?
Yeah. So look, whether you have an underhook or an overhook, both can be offensive, both can be losing positions. For example, if his arm's under, but I'm super heavy, this is more of my overhook. This allows me throws, this allows me snap downs right here, okay? Whereas if I have an underhook, but I'm really cranked up, I have a lot of pull here. So he's over, but he doesn't have an overhook in the sense that I would not define this as him controlling me. Just like He's under, but he's not controlling me. Okay, so you have to know, and it's sort of like, to make a gi comparison, it's like if the grip is there, but I'm cranking this up or I am cranking this down, I'm winning the grip game whether I'm over or under. It's all about the control that you have. So when you have an underhook, let me do this real quick. When you have this underhook here, really anchoring the fingers like into that shoulder joint and pulling your elbow into you and getting your body kind of, in a strong position of control. And when it's over, this can be tricep gripping or just simply controlling this way, right? And then your other hand is sort of ready to go. Sometimes it's gripping, but like, let me go back to this one. Like if it's here, my other hand might be controlling the head, right? It might be kind of snapping down. It might be ready to commit to a throw. And then last thing, when I'm playing this underhook game, this hand I'm not always gripping. Because believe it or not, when I'm gripping or holding, sometimes I give away what I'm doing. When this hand is free, it's harder for them to know what's happening, right? Because I can kind of go here, I can snap the head down, I can tap at that leg, make him step back, right? Like if he steps up, and then there's that one, or there's a snap down. So whichever arm's controlling, the other hand it's ready with the underhook. I like that hand just kind of being like a feinting hand, like threatening, oh, so that he's not aware of which attack is coming at what time. But yeah, it's kind of like we have the outside wrestling game where it's all shots, right? And then we have the tie-up. Okay. A couple examples. Professor Todd plays the outside game a lot. He's got a really fast shot. When I go with him, I try to tie up with him because when I tie up, it immediately slows down the speed of the wrestling game, at least the shot game. There are still trips and there are still fireman carries and drop throws, but that quick shot where you need the speed of moving is nullified because of the clinch. Okay, so is this sort of the what you wanted to look at?
It helps. Does the double overhook versus double underhook, does that in relation to size?
I mean, it can be if you can't get your arms around the person's waist. That's usually like a really big person. But it's the same idea. He's got double underhooks, but those aren't very good. But if he locks me up, this is good, right? It's kind of like who's winning the game. I can be winning right here. I really can. I like this position. I feel like here I'm gonna trip him, right? Because I kind of have double overhooks. That's how I would define that position. I'm the one with a workable hook, whether it's over or under. That's what the question is. Is it a position of control? His underhooks, if they're all clamped in and weak, they're not workable underhooks. So it has to be, it's kind of defined that way, right? Just let me take it to the ground for a second, like head kind of pointed to the camera. Right here, like a half guard position. Overhook with his knee on my hip. This is a winning overhook for Professor Jose because I cannot use my underhook for anything. And he actually has an attack right there on my arm. But if I'm past this here and I'm kind of controlling, now it's my underhook that's winning. So if he overhooks, can't do anything with it. Okay? On the ground, it's slowed down. So it's like usually you get a position, you can hold it with gravity and closeness. On the feet, you're moving with your feet. So you can limp out of certain positions and adjust better, which makes it all the more important to really tighten up and close the gap on your underhook or your overhook game. But yeah, double underhooks usually means you have a better chance than they do. You have more opportunity to lock up their upper body, their lower body, or drop to the hips and legs because you got double underhooks. You're underneath their arms. Their arms are the things that they use to counter all your shots, right? So if you get underneath those, your chances are better. But remember, they can still counter and shut down your underhooks with heavy, strong overhooks if you don't close the position. Does this
Yeah, that helps. Thanks.
make sense? Good.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Overhook, underhook game is kind of like that kind of whole line of question is kind of like grips. You know, it's like, well, what's the winning grip? Well, it depends on more than just where the hand is. It depends on the arm, the body, the pressure, the angle. All of those determine how functional your grip is. Same thing with an underhook, right? Or overhook. It's not just, well, I got the underhook, I'm going to win. It's like, no, where's your body? Where's the pressure? Where's the movement? What can you do with it? It's like almost an entire system of understanding that is worth really exploring, especially with the no-gi. Overhooks and underhooks are like, I mean, you're using them all the time. So that was actually a really, really good question that, I mean, you could do like 4 hours of just talking about that. One more question, team. Maybe Mona has a question about a real obscure technique that no one's ever heard of. Those are always fun. No one? We're good? Melissa? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Jack is constantly arm dragging me or doing a double Russian whenever we're fighting for the takedown position.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm playing now with T-Rex arms, and I'm trying to be really cognizant of not playing slappy hands. But I feel like
Must be hard for you.
But am I getting better? A little bit. I got a little bit better. But it's really hard for me to go for an arm drag or a takedown when I'm really concentrating on keeping the elbows tight. I don't know what's available to me.
Don't keep the elbows so tight.
Okay.
So I know I say that a lot now. Maybe I'm contradicting myself, but look, there's a point in stand-up where you relax a little bit. You can have your arms in without being frozen. You'll see a lot of times like your arms can kind of grab it, they can kind of stay in here and they can move down here, protecting your legs too. And you can move a little. So you have to relax. If you just, like, you don't need to address every single thing that the person does. You don't have to like swat it out of the way or get rid of it. So now in terms of if you want to be the arm dragger, right? One option I like quite a bit is just a change in how I hold the wrist is holding this way as opposed to this way. Because this way, for one, it's more conventional, okay? This almost feels a little weird, like you feel weak in your own elbow, but you actually have some pulling power that's kind of creates a unique angle. Also, when I'm here, right, his defense is to go against my thumb, like that. So here, maybe not so much for just the arm drag, but if he tries to defend inward, protecting his legs, he can't do that. So typically he has to go away, and that tends to open up leg attacks, okay? Now, so many arm drags go in combination with the legs, right? We come in here, right? A lot of times, I do this too, just to change that reaction. Because if I can change this and get him, he wants to like bend his arm inward and he can't really do it, right? So he starts doing this. Now I'm attacking. I know that's not your question about the arm drag, But you're better at arm drags when you are threatening more options and kind of getting them to react in a less predictable way. All right, so you want to arm drag more, whether you're here, like here, I can do the same thing. Or here, I can do the same thing. But make a habit of grabbing the wrist and hanging on a little bit longer. Let's just say tradition here. Okay? Like, this is kind of frustrating for the person. He has to deal with that, right? So try to be strong and heavy. See that? Pull their arm down. And sometimes as they're starting to pull their arm back up, they're not in the arm drag counter position. They're in that like get away, and then it's easy to throw the arm back. So tell me the exact question again. Was it you wanted just to hit more arm drags, right?
Well, I'm being really careful not to offer up the arm. He's still getting the drag.
Yeah.
But I think I might be too rigid. Like I'm almost not relaxing enough.
Get kind of closer for this one. Okay. So grab my wrist. Right. Just start pummeling wrist sooner.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Right. It's like as somebody grabs the wrist, turn your fingers in the direction that you can immediately start to circle. Which really that motion, grab my sleeve. I like that on a sleeve grip too. I like a no-gi break on the sleeve grip, right? Okay, so if he gets the first grip, fine, he won that, right? If I am gonna slap this, I'm not gonna do that. It's a very deliberate switch, right? It's my arms crossing, boom, and now I have it, okay? But like just grab both wrists. Yeah, like here, 1, 2. And by the way, how did I end up, Logan? I ended up in that sort of awkward first one that I showed you. This is why it's good to get good at this, because you end up here sometimes because it's the way that we counter wrist control, right? I'm just shrinking in, turning my hand out, and this kind of curve in your hand right here is a very strong position. What do we use it on? We use it to hold the shins when we're passing the guard, when we're breaking off De La Riva hooks, and now to break that wrist control, okay? So, yeah, so don't panic, don't worry. If they grip it, just stay in the fight and just work to break the grip without worrying too much. And then practice, break the grip, and as soon as you break it, make your move.
Okay. I think I'm not holding it long enough. I think I'm popping it off and moving along.
Yeah, but see, if you think too defensively, like I only want to evade the position if I feel like I need to start over or I'm in a lot of danger. And when someone grabs me, I'm not in a lot of danger until I start to become in a bad position, right? But imagine, like, lay down real quick. Imagine every time, and I'll use maybe a gi example. Every time he grabs my gi, I go, okay. Okay, let me try to pass again. It's like, no, like, you can't do that. They're gonna get something, right? They're gonna get things. So it's more like, what can I handle? All right, well, I can handle this grip. He kept his grip the whole time. I didn't really that wasn't really part of the problem I had to solve, right? So it's the same thing with standing. I don't need to get his hands away from me. I just need a little more than he has. If I have a little more control, then I can win the exchange. So that's really, and this is really good for everyone, is like identifying what do you need to be a little bit ahead of your opponent in the control game. What can you let them keep? And I mean, that's really like the chess analogy, right? Like in chess, you got to lose some of your pieces and you got to sacrifice certain elements of the game. You can't keep all your pawns safe. but you don't need all of them to beat the other person. You just need enough, you just need basically one step of control ahead of them. So I won't get too philosophical on that point, but it really is like that. Just try to have two things when they have one. Okay.
Or the arm, where you counter with an arm drag. You arm drag, you counter with arm drag.
Yeah. Let's look at that real quick. So there is the arm drag, the counter with the same move, and this is just about using the momentum they created with the drag against them. So for an arm drag, if I am, let's go right here. Yeah. If I am being arm dragged and I realize, oh, there's no way for me to go back where I started from, right? As I'm here, I just change the angle. So I didn't fight what he had. He had the angle, but I just sat and countered it. This can happen. This happens on the ground too. Same thing. Like if I go here, boom, so you do it to me this time, right? So as I go here and I'm coming around, right? I expected to move him on my arm drag. He reacted by going with it, almost ahead of my momentum, and I was not expecting that. And then he got there. So that's another really valuable counter to the arm drag. You kind of go with it, You go with it in turn. You go with it and last second, change the angle. And they're moving, because what do we do on an arm drag? We drag and we come at them really, really hard. So if I'm coming at them and they disappear behind me, you can't ask for a sweeter turnaround of a move than taking someone's back who is arm dragging you. It's no better feeling in the world. Yeah.
I think you can do it. I've done it bolo too. Once you lose the arm, like you from the top here, and so you drag me here, and you're already going around to my back.
Yeah.
And then all I do is I hug this knee and I roll forward into this position to the back.
Actually, just quit jiu-jitsu forever.
Yeah, that's when you're completely lost.
Yeah.
Last option.
Yeah. But really, that's about just being confident in something bad happening to you. And it takes a lot of I'm trying to say, like, getting beat in those positions to be confident enough to sort of go with them and turn it into something else, turn it in your favor. There are limited returns on just defending everything and staying away from danger, because we usually don't get what we want. We stay safe. Maybe we defend a while, but every time that you counter something and don't respond, the other person is figuring out your rhythm. You know what I mean? They're saying, like, okay, you defend this, so I'm going to get you on the third. 1, 2, now I got you. But if you can respond immediately with something, they can't play the game over and over again. So we kind of got off track. But anyway, arm drag with the arm drag and pummel the wrist. Cool. Give me one of these or one of these on the screen. Yes. Okay, let's bow out, team. Great class, as usual. Awesome questions. Oh man, we went way over the time. That's okay. All right, team. And guys, these are streamed all on YouTube, so you can go back and refer to those and remember what the name of that move was that Mona asked, because I still have no idea. Right here, team. Ready? Attention. Wow. Good work, guys. See you tonight.